Well, joining us to break it all down is the Associate Professor of Management at Texas A&M Central Texas, Dr. Lucas Loafman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So the big question, will overturning Roe versus Wade end abortions across the U.S.?
In short, the answer is no. All this does is return the power to the states to decide what they want, legal, illegal, or under what circumstances. And there are states in recent years that have already enacted laws to protect the woman's right to have an abortion, with Colorado being the one closest to us.
A lot of people are worried as well, Doctor, that this could mean that other key precedents that have been recently decided will be overturned, something like gay marriage or the rights to prohibit against discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Will they be affected at all by this ruling?
That's a fear, but it's not likely for several reasons. When the Supreme Court overturns a significant precedent, they do so very sparingly and with a lot of thought. And to have multiple precedents overturned is not common. Also, Roe v. Wade has been a deeply polarizing issue for a number of years. The recent decisions, though people disagreed, they were not viewed and have not been challenged like Roe v. Wade has continuously had through the years.
So how could public opinion influence the final decision? Could it at all?
Well, I think whoever leaked the document was certainly hopeful that it would, but it's not likely. The temperature of the room with Roe v. Wade has been known for years with how people stand. The justices certainly took that into consideration early. And you know, the setup with them being appointed and not elected is designed to insulate them from it. If anything, I think it may entrench them to their prior views rather than change it at this point.
Perhaps. Well, yesterday was kind of an earthquake when we got the news, a supreme earthquake, if I can make a bad pun there, because has a leak like this ever happened before? If so, do you recall any?
There's nothing in the modern era. There was a 1919 case where a clerk released trying to gain off of it, sort of like an old insider trading type situation. But interestingly enough, the most notable leak since then was actually in Roe v. Wade. Leading up to the deliberations, Justice's memo got released that triggered a Washington Post story, and then there was an extensive New York Times, Times story that got released just a few hours prior, documenting the decision and everything that led up to it, but just prior due to a 7-day run because there were weekly publications.
Right. Well, when it comes to codifying Roe versus Wade, a lot has been mentioned about that regarding the leak. What does that mean?
Well, it's in essence, a Supreme Court's decision is called common law. And so above that in precedence is statutory law. So the idea is to go to Congress and ultimately pass a law that would provide the same previous protections that Roe v. Wade did, but since it's passed by Congress, signed by the president, it would take precedence over any decision that would overturn Roe v. Wade, and essentially Congress overruling the Supreme Court.
Right, and the idea of federalism being overreached, pushed out by the federal government, and states then not having the ability to pass their own laws, which essentially is where this would take us back to.
Yeah, this is classic checks and balances that leaves it, like I said, currently a state issue, but if it's codified, then it could remain a federal issue. Even still, though, there would probably be challenges if Congress passed a statute.
Well, Dr. Lucas Loafman, did you understand all that? He's good. I mean, you know your stuff. Thank you for being here today.